So I'm thinking of kind of starting a blog where I would just talk and possibly take calls, like a blog radio thing. But I'm not very good at sort of getting these sort of things together. So if anybody wants to contact me to help me do that, that would be great. And I wanted to start sharing ideas that I've had. I have lots of them, and just so that they're out there in the world, and if anybody wants to take them and use them or help me implement them, then get in touch. And I thought to myself, shall I do this like on camera, or shall I do it without that? So I'm going to try it first without the camera. And then I kind of remembered that I saw Miliband, whatever, that guy who's the head of the so-called Labour Party, whatever that means. Not my idea of a party. He was just acting. It was incredible to watch him acting and to realise that there are millions of people around the world that don't really understand that he's acting. And then I thought, is it possible not to act? And I suppose I think the acting part of it, I'm suspecting, if it's anything to do, if he's anything like me, is sort of giving off the air that I really know what I'm talking about when I don't really know what I'm talking about. So I'm not sure whether it's better to not to have the camera. That makes it just makes it a little bit easier for me to be as genuine as I can. I don't know. But I'm sure you will share your opinions with me about that and about any of these ideas. So one of the ideas, as people always keep on asking, and I ask myself, well, what can we do about the situation? If you can call it that. One of the ideas is to create a political experiment, and I've spoken about this briefly before, but I'd really be interested in if people wanted to sort of get going with this as soon as possible. We've created a political social experiment, and the nature of the experiment would be, I think, like real experiments, there is no need for there to be any particular outcome. Something is put into action and we wait to see what the outcome is, and any outcome is fine. And that would be the idea with this. So this wouldn't be about, winning majorities in parliaments at all. It wouldn't be about that. That would be maybe one possible outcome. But I think quite unlikely for a while, bearing in mind where the people's minds are, whatever that means. So the idea would to create a political social experiment whereby instead of having parties and party lines and whips, which is complete nonsense, that's not democracy, that's just a control system. Instead of having that, to create a global alliance of people who wanted to be part of this political experiment. And the experiment would include the idea that anyone involved in this was independent and independent thinking. Because how can anybody get together with a whole group of people and say they think the same? That's very strange. And it would. I had an idea. I've had several ideas for the name of this alliance. I thought something that would be quite creative would be call it the Creative Imagination Alliance. The Creative Imagination Alliance, which is CIA. And the idea being that this alliance would be for all creative people, all people with imagination. Because that's what it's about. It's being able to imagine beyond what we've been told we've been told that this system is the best we can get. That the legal system is, like in England, we're told it's the best compared to everywhere else. Yeah, but that doesn't make it good. So to create an alliance of people with imagination, and it could be in all sorts of things, creative imagination, and there would be a political kind of section, if you like, or group of people who wanted to bring creativity and imagination into what's called politics, or the way we run our lives. And people could stand for Parliament if they wanted to, and there would be a pool of creativity, and this political experiment would include artists, musicians, poets, rappers, I don't know what, creative people. Lots of different types of creativity would be part of this political experiment, and it would be based on fairly simple principles. Not beliefs and not ideologies, just kind of principles. Like doing our best to treat others as we'd want to be treated, and not to treat others as we don't want to be treated. Something like that, or maybe not. Could be something else. But just very basic principles that resonate with people in this alliance. And then again, part of this political experiment would be to be an attempt to shift the conversation, because at the moment in this country, in England, the conversation is they take the conversation where they want it to be, whereas this political experiment would be about taking the conversation in a different direction completely. And so my idea for this political, for my own personal contribution to this political experiment would be to start the ball rolling at creating a list of questions that we think should guide the conversation. Questions that are not being addressed. Questions, and there are a lot of them. I'm sure many people would have more questions, and we could create, like a website with resources of where to take the conversation. Questions like, what's your vision for 50 years' time, for 100 years' time? Do we really need to have a system of usury or interest? What is ownership? Ethics, what is what's going on ethical? Whatever that means. Who's really controlling things? Like the whole idea of jobs, talking about this idea of, do we really all need to be having jobs? This whole concept of the economy and the way it works, does anybody know how it actually works? And is anybody prepared to tell the truth about how it actually works? Where does money come from? Is it real? Or do we need the banks in order to give away, to create money out of thin air to the tune of £300 billion? Do we need to give that to the banks first? Or can't we just create it ourselves and just give it to the people? Or, give it to the people for doing things, for providing services? Why can't we just create that money and just give it straight to the people. How about, is taxation ethical? Is it ethical to force people under the threat of violence to give you a percentage of their money that they have earned? And I'll continue with more examples in the future episodes, but for the time being, I would be interested if anybody wants to take this idea on themselves or help me create this thing. Be really good to hear from you all. I just want to end off with this idea that my vision for this this alliance, and it could be called anything. I don't mind. There may be much better ideas from people out there, but the idea of creative imagination alliance, for me, what I think of is that the imagination has absolutely no limits. There's no limit to what you can imagine or what I can imagine. That's for sure. And yet, our imaginations have been seriously limited, and that may or may not have been done deliberately, but they are seriously limited. And certainly, if you're looking in the area of politics, I mean, it really is. Many more people are waking up to the farcical nature of the way we are managed. And so the idea of creating this kind of worldwide alliance is to get some creativity and imagination into the process of the way we are running, the planet and our lives and our so-called countries. So I will leave it there to all you lovely imaginative people. I look forward to hearing your responses.